How's everybody doing? Welcome to Gep Talk, episode 1. As I told you, I got my special guest in the booth with me, my friend Dylan Leyden. Dylan, how you doing today?
Hey, John, how's it going? Thanks for having me, man. Honored to be the first guest. Thanks for having me on Get Talk. Great to be here.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. I know you're a smart man, basketball mind. For the viewers who are watching, tell them a little something about yourself.
20 years old, been a big fan of basketball for a little bit. Started watching basketball '08. Derrick Rose came to Chicago Bulls, made me fall in love with the game, made me fall in love with the Bulls. Hoping for a big season. Coming soon, man. Go Bulls, baby.
Big D Rose fan as well. We're both Chicago fans, so we're gonna if he ever shows up on the podcast again, the Bulls are gonna be a main topic. They're struggling right now, but hopefully we'll get it together. But as I told you guys, episode 1, we're not gonna start slow. We're gonna get right off the blocks. We're gonna get right into it. Dylan, my first topic I want to talk about last season because I think it's gonna go as an underappreciated, underrated season. Before the bubble, there was great basketball. During the bubble, great basketball. But for some reason, they didn't get the viewers in the playoffs. I don't know. The bubble, I thought it was great because it was just simple basketball, no fan. The players were just out there hooping. But how do you feel about it? Was there any moments of last season? Do you have a moment of last season that really stuck out to you?
I was heartbroken, man. I remember exactly where I was when I found out the season was ending. I was in Canada with your older brother, actually, and we're all like, "Yo, this COVID thing's gonna be for real." But my favorite moment definitely has got to be Zach LaVine, 49 points, I think it was. Hornets buzzer beater, 13 three-pointers, steal, and the game winner in the last seconds, man. Bulls basketball, hopefully on the upcoming with that, man. Go Bulls. That's all I gotta say.
My, I think my favorite moment last season definitely was the one matchup we got to see from Kyrie Irving and John Morant. This before Kyrie, when he came back, when he was first started playing, and before he got hurt. Both of
He
them
had
were
that
healthy.
block, right? He had
Yep,
John Moran had that block. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. And
okay.
I think that was one of the best point guard matchups the whole season. That was my favorite moment. But even while I was at school watching the playoffs, like all those playoff series were tight. The East, first round, not so much, but in the West, that Oklahoma City, Houston Rockets, that series was neck and neck. Like Chris Paul had those young Oklahoma City
I'll
Thunder.
give
They
you
were
it was neck
hooping.
and neck, but I
It,
think
it,
Houston was definitely the favorite
it
from
went
from
it
the
went to a
beginning.
game. It went to a game 7.
It went to game
And
seven.
in
It went
game
to
seven,
game seven.
it might have went to overtime or it was a close
Lou
game.
Dort did have that
Lucas Dort had a
surprise
great
sprout.
he
Yeah.
had a great game. Like I had money on the Thunder. They covered. I won some big time money that day. It was huge.
Yeah,
Another
no, I'll
series
give that
that
to you.
another was great series. Like the Mavericks gave the Clippers a run for their money. Like if I thought that should have woke the Clippers up in that first round too, but they didn't
I
come ready to
think
play in the playoffs.
if Porzingis stays healthy in that series, Mavericks at least bring it to game seven in a very competitive game seven, or Mavericks have a shot at beating that team with ease. I think so Dwight Powell, people forget, was also out for that series. And now Kristaps Porzingis is out for the beginning of this season. If they have that lineup or that front court, I should say, of Dwight Powell and Kristaps Porzingis, the Mavs are going to be a very good team for the next few years. We'll say that.
I like what the Mavericks are doing. Jalen Brunson, they got some guards.
Oh, and I love the Josh Richardson. He's one of my favorite 3-and-D players too. He's just out there hooping.
Yep. So another thing I want to talk about. So the Miami Heat come out the East. Some a little bit surprised, but to me, it wasn't really a surprise to me. I didn't really think the Bucks were all that, and I knew Jimmy Butler getting into a playoff with a young team, a team that believes in him and that's going to listen to him. He's going to compete. And Jimmy Butler came on top. He finally got out the conference, got to his finals. It was great to see. As a former Bulls fan, he was a great Bulls player. I love to see it. Jimmy Butler was just giving his all out, and you can't ask for anything more from him.
Yeah, well, as far as the Miami Heat, I'm a big fan of their whole team. I drafted Bam Adebayo in fantasy this year. I got big hopes for him. He's going to take a big step again in his production. But I remember saying last year as a Bulls fan when they were taking Kobe White, I wanted them to trade down just as they should have for Patrick Williams. It looks like he's a good pick. They should have traded down and took Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was that walking bucket. Everyone knew what that kid was about. Maybe I was a little biased. I saw him coming out of high school, coming out of Milwaukee. I knew that kid was going to be a killer. But shout out Miami Heat. They got a good team, good coach. They're going to be good for the next few years as well.
Exactly. And they gave the Lakers a run for the money. They didn't just sit there and die. Like LeBron, Anthony Davis, like they had to go all out to beat them. And it's a shame to see, like, LeBron's my favorite player, but like to see Jimmy Butler just lose to LeBron, because Jimmy Butler has not beat LeBron in any playoff series in his life. And he always competes when always goes like just comes up a little bit short. But they gave him he gave the Lakers a run for the money. That's all you could ask. It was a 4-2 series. Like I love last year playoffs. I love last season. Like, and now I'm just looking forward to this season. Like, I can't wait. Like, basketball is finally on. Like, we're recording this, and it's the 27th of December. There's already been 2 games played, and it's about that time. Watching basketball all day. Like, I love it. It's great. But okay, so now we're done with last season. Forget about 2019, 2020, COVID. Now we're on to the 2020, 2021 season. And this offseason was very important. None other important player, free agent, than Giannis Antetokounmpo signing back with the Milwaukee Bucks. Dylan, did you think that was going to happen, or did you think he was going to bounce and go somewhere else? Like, there was some people were nervous. I thought he was going back to Milwaukee. What about you?
Johnny, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
No, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, you'll have to plug me in right at the beginning of this question. I've been lagging a shit ton. It was fancy, right?
Yeah, I was talking about free agent. I was talking about how Giannis signed back with the Bucks, and I was wondering, did you think he was going to go somewhere else? Because there was a lot of speculation that maybe he was going to Golden State, Portland, Miami. Did you think there was any chance of Giannis leaving?
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I'm bugging. It's lagging a shit ton. So you started with I'm trying not to fuck up the intro, but okay.
I'll just edit
Restart
it
one
out.
more time.
I'll just
I
edit
know.
it. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
edit
so
it
hold
out.
on. Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, there was a lot of big off season. It was such a crazy off season because it only took 2 months, not even 2 months, because it only had to actually talk to people and make all these moves. The Bucks had the weird off season because they wanted to impress on so much to make him sign max, which he did. Good for them. It just sucks that they're in the division as the Bulls, but. Drew Holiday for 3 first-round picks was a little too much. Good for them, though. They got a really good point guard who can make plays and close out a game. They didn't get Bojan Bogdanovic, but they showed Giannis that they're willing to make any move that will make him happy. Love the Chris Paul move at first. I thought he's going because he wanted to be on a championship winning team. The Suns are going to be really good, but are they better than the Lakers, Clippers, Mavericks, Nuggets?
The question is, are the Suns going to make the playoffs?
Are the Suns what?
Are the Suns going to make the playoffs? I don't know. Even with Chris Paul, I don't know.
Yeah, that's sorry, I got a little lag again. That's the point I was trying to make. I mean, the Suns Chris Paul are going to be a 6 seed, which is cool, but then next year they're going to be a 6 seed at most again because he's just going to be 37 or 6 years old, whatever it ends up being. But I like it. They'll be competitive. Maybe Devin Booker Chris Paul could make DeAndre and what a number 1 overall pick should be. I mean, he could be 20 and 14 on a nightly basis with Chris Paul.
The pick and roll game is going to look a lot better than when Ricky Rubio was there.
Lob City 2.0. And good for Ricky. Oh, speaking of that, Ricky goes to Timberwolves. That's another little sneaky move he really talks about. It's kind of weird. They're kind of a guard-heavy rotation. They got Malik Beasley, number 1 overall pick. What's his name? I can't slip in my mind. Anthony Edwards. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Anthony. They got Ricky Rubio, obviously. D'Angelo Russell. They got Jarrett Culver. I mean, good amount of guards over there. Hopefully they can figure it out.
Yeah, but okay. So I want to talk about the defending champion Lakers. Not that they just like talk about have an off season. The only loss that I think is going to be a huge loss for them. Danny Green, he could go. He wasn't hitting the big time shots. Rajon Rondo is going to be a big loss for the Lakers. You'll see it at the end of the season, but I think they'll be able to recover. But signing Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, and Marc Gasol, talk about have an off season for the defending champions. Like they reloaded.
I mean, unbelievable. Rob Pelinka has got to be the best GM in the league.
Rob Pelinka or LeBron?
Nah, it's Rob Pelinka. That's Rob Pelinka all the way.
GOAT.
And I mean, you look at Sam Presti and all the little moves he can make. You can argue that Sam Presti made just as many good moves as Rob Pelinka, just they're not in a position to win at this exact moment.
Sam Presti is all of us at home playing NBA 2K wanting to get the young players. So shout out to Sam Presti.
But Montrezl Harrell on a 2-year, $19 million. I kind of felt bad. I for sure thought he was going to get paid. But Dennis Schroeder, he's a bucket, great defensively. I think he should start, but you can flip him around. He'll close games no matter what. I wish the Lakers, because I'm a Lakers fan besides being a Bulls fan, I wish they would have got Serge Ibaka. He went to the Clippers on the same deal. I think he would have fit better.
Sneaky pickup.
Hey, 2 years, $19 million, man. That's a bargain for him. Speaking of sneaky pickups, Luke Kennard for the Clippers. I think that's a good year. They overpaid him a little bit with that extension, but yeah, the Lakers. Oh, and then shout out Taylor Horton Tucker, man. Shout out Chicago boy, Chicago Wonder boy. Hopefully, the Lakers have him as a sneaky little bench man. But
one of the biggest moves this offseason, in my opinion, let's talk about it. John Wall for Russell Westbrook. And let me get it started here. I don't know what James Harden problem is, because I think him and Wall are going to make a great duo. I saw Wall hoop by himself against the Chicago Bulls, and I was amazed. John Wall is ready to hoop this year. If he stays healthy, John Wall's ready to hoop. So I don't know what Harden's problem is. I think Harden should be ready to go, go hoop. I think him and Wall are going to be a better duo than him and Westbrook ever was. But
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry. I love James Harden. I'm a big fear the beard man. I'm a big fan, but I don't get with this diva act he's pulling. I'm trying to still pull for him and say he's still this MVP caliber, that generational scorer, but he's pulling this,
which he is.
Yeah, which he is. But I mean, what would he really gain if he's going to Portland or Brooklyn? Brooklyn better stay away from him. I'm not a big Brooklyn fan.
It's not Portland. I heard rumor is Philly.
Philly. I mean, hey, shout out Daryl Moore. Hey, if Ben Simmons ends up on the Rockets, Ben Simmons will be an MVP candidate next 2-3 years, guarantee it, on his own team.
No shot.
But that's a hot take. I like Ben Simmons. But other than that, I think if James Harden did stay on the Rockets, he's got Christian Wood. There's a very sneaky offseason acquisition. 3 years, $41 million too. I mean, that's not even that crazy of a contract.
Even another pickup, DeMarcus Cousins. He's going to hoop.
Just on a 1-year contract too. And they said he's going to be a 6-man.
Healthy DeMarcus Cousins, why not have him? What's wrong with DeMarcus?
So let's picture this starting lineup for the Rockets then. You got starting point guard John Wall, James Harden, Daniel House, Christian Wood, and DeMarcus Cousins.
And Eric Gordon come off the bench.
They are just going to be so – I mean, that's like a perfect team. Christian Wood and DeMarcus Cousins are going to be great for the pick and pop, pick and roll. Daniel House
we don't know about them. There's some we just don't know. Some the Harden. I'm just going to throw some out there. Crazy scenario. You know, Harden's a Adidas guy. You know, there's another Adidas guy that might get traded around trade time. Dylan, do you know who that is?
No, man. I mean,
he's a guard. He's a guard.
Is it Zach LaVine?
Adidas point guard. Your favorite player? Derrick Rose to the Rockets.
What would that do, though? What?
I think
that's not going to set them over the edge, and it's not going to make James Harden stay anymore.
I think he doesn't like he said he wants no business playing with John Wall, and he was gonna if Westbrook was still there.
James Harden said that?
Problem. Yes, it came out.
No, I thought he said that he liked playing with John Wall better because they were playing in Miami weeks before or whatever.
No.
Oh, then I'm wrong then. I guess I don't get the James Harden thing though in general. I think he should stay in Houston. He's built his whole career there. He could be an MVP this year with ease, but I don't get it.
Okay. So one last shout out on the offseason. I want to shout out to all the young players who got paid. De'Aaron Fox, he got a bag. Brandon Ingram, he got a bag. Buddy Hield, he got a bag. Any other young players got a bag?
Um. Well, I'm sorry. I can think of a lot of players that didn't get the bag. They didn't
Lowry
agree to a
Markkinen.
contract. Yeah, that's Lonzo Ball. Trying to think of some other ones. I mean, geez, now you're putting me on the spot.
Donovan Mitchell, he got a
Donovan.
bag.
Rudy Gobert got his contract extension. That's the worst contract extension in NBA history, I think. But we'll keep moving on to rookie extensions. I don't know. Keep throwing some more names on me. I'll be honest with you. I can't think of any more. I'm trying to think. I mean, Brandon Ingram, he deserved his.
Absolutely.
I
Fox
said if
deserved his. Mitchell deserved his.
If I was the Bulls GM, first day of free agency, I was offering Brandon Ingram the max absolute money. Put the Pelicans in the worst position possible.
A lot of people got paid this offseason. A lot of like ridiculous contracts, but But another one, last young player before we move on to next season, Bam Adebayo. He got money he deserved. He was hooping all last season. Glad to see that.
Hey, Bam Adebayo took him third round in fantasy this year. He's going to be a great player this year, guaranteed.
Okay, so now, Dylan, we're going to the next subject. We're going to talk about the rookies and the rookies who you think is about to have the most impact this season. This draft class was a little weird. Like it was really top heavy, but the middle and the bottom second round, there is hoopers. And there's going to be people that are going to be around the league for a long time. So you got to watch out. You got to watch a lot of college basketball to be an NBA draft analysis. But like for a common person, like they might see these people a couple games or watch their highlights. That's not enough. You actually got to watch these people play. But first one I want to talk about, second overall pick, James Wiseman. He had 2 games so far. And I'm telling you, James Wiseman was a perfect pick for the Golden State Warriors. You know why? Because you got Steph Curry. You got Wiggins. They don't have Klay Thompson because he got hurt. But he's a big man who could stretch the floor. That's perfect for the Golden State Warriors. That's how they play. And he's big. He could post up. He could dunk, like 7 foot that could shoot threes. And he's the most healthy player in the draft because he only played 3 games at Memphis. All he's been doing is been training for the NBA. I like James Wiseman big time.
I'll give you that. I'll be honest. James Wiseman's a great player. I think he's a perfect NBA player build. I mean, 7 foot, crazy wingspan, jump out the gym type of player, shoot, handle the ball, all that stuff. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I know you have him in fantasy. I know you were big on him. Right away, he came in and made an impact. I couldn't believe it. He's already going to be a great player, but there's nothing more to it. He's already going to be a great NBA player. One of my sleepers I want to talk about in the NBA draft, James Wiseman was he was like number 1, number 2.
Second pick.
Coming out of high school. He was top. Yeah, he was like a top rated player.
Yeah, he was number 1 player in his class. Yeah.
And then there was another big man. Do you know who that big man was? He went to Duke.
Vernon Carey Jr.
Yes, sir. So
that's
Vernon Carey, he went to the Hornets. I think he was the first round pick of the second draft or something like that. He went early in the second. But yeah, I think he'll be a good player if he actually gets some playing time and develops good with the Hornets.
Absolutely. I like that pick. He went Duke system. It's a solid pick. Like he's going to get some opportunity in Charlotte.
You hear those players that just go into Duke and they're just playing, I mean, with 4 other really good players that just don't have the opportunity to take 15, 16 shots a game.
Glad you mentioned Vernon Carey because I can't mention the Charlotte Hornets without naming another guy on my list, the most famous player in this draft. Yes, sir. You know who it is, Mr.
Chicago Bulls point guard LaMelo Ball. Yes, sir.
Chicago Bulls. Almost Chicago Bulls. But yeah, 6'7" point guard, could dribble, unselfish, but he can knock down the big shot. But why I have him as one of the most impact rookies? Because it's LaMelo Ball. He's the most famous. So that's how you know he's going to get an opportunity. Lonzo got a lot of opportunities first year. He got a lot of playing opportunity. LaMelo is going to get a lot of playing opportunity, even with Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham.
They got some guards over there, but hopefully he doesn't have too short of a leash. I agree with you.
Terry Rozier on the trade block. I'll tell you.
I love LaMelo Ball. I wish he was in a Chicago Bulls uniform. He should be in a Chicago Bulls uniform. But Patrick Williams is a good player. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to talk bad about Pat Williams anymore. LaMelo Ball should be absolutely a rookie of the year candidate. He's going to come in and be almost a walking triple double. Such a good playmaker, man. I'm in love with his game. Been a fan since ever. So I've never been one of the haters of the Ball family. Shout out
Only thing is
Leangelo.
consistency. The only thing is consistency with LaMelo.
Yeah,
That's all you got to worry about.
consistency, and I mean, it's not like IQ because he's got a good IQ. It's decision making.
Doing too much sometimes. Sometimes he tries to do too
Yeah,
much.
the behind the backs are dope, but I mean, yeah, you just got to know when to dump it off and when to pull it out.
Another rookie who's gonna have a big time opportunity. Our own, gotta trust him. Patrick Williams, Patrick Pat. What do you think, Dylan? First, hold up. Let me get your first impression when the Bulls announced Patrick Williams. I really want to know because I'll be admitted too. I
Yeah,
thought it was a bust move, but I'm
me
still
and you were
thinking.
me and you were both guilty of calling it too early. Looking at the numbers, he's coming off the bench at Florida State. He was definitely. I was making a joke. He was averaging a triple single. But I mean, he's a 19-year-old. I said I know AK and Eversley know what they're doing, so they definitely know better than at least I do. I can guarantee that. So I'm gonna give them an opportunity to prove themselves. He's the only player that are tied to this organization. Everyone else is just collateral damage, I'll say for now, because the Bulls are also just terrible.
Insane to see.
0-2 start.
Insane
So
to see.
if Pat Williams comes out and averages 12, 6, and 3, and he's playing good defense, shooting above 40% from 3, we'll say that'd be a huge bonus. And yeah, good to see. I mean, we'll let it sit. Yeah, we'll let it play out too.
Okay. Now I want to talk about my sleepers, under the radar rookies. And I want to give a big shout out to my boy Pee Wee the Plug, who told me about this dude, Malachi Flynn. I was watching the Hornets game, first LaMelo's game, because I had to watch LaMelo. And I see a little point guard look a little like Steph Curry on the Raptors.
He played at Oregon, or am I tripping?
San Diego State 28th pick.
I've heard of him. Yeah, no, I felt like he was a ball his life
is a
guy
bucket.
or something, maybe. Definitely sounds
I
familiar.
really like him. He's gonna have an opportunity, even though I'm a huge Fred VanVleet fan, but Lowry's getting up there in age, so maybe him could be a 1-2 combo in the back. Another rookie, all these rookies that I'm about to name are guards, because as you see, guards get hurt, and young rookies, guards always get an opportunity to hoop. As you see, the Bulls, all these guards always get a chance to hoop. So another one, a big time high school recruit, number 1 point guard in this class, Cole Anthony. He went to North Carolina. They had a horrible season. They wasn't even going to make the tournament.
Horrible, man.
But now he's on the Magic. Just him and Markelle Fultz. And Cole Anthony is going to hoop. That NBA player, Greg Anthony, Cole Anthony has had this in his blood. He's going to hoop. Last one, another big time opportunity, because the 76ers have a point guard who can't shoot. Tyrese Maxey from Kentucky is going to have a big-time opportunity. I really like Tyrese Maxey. He signed with Clutch Sports. LeBron likes him. Surprised the Lakers didn't pick him up. Tyrese Maxey, big-time player. What you think on that? You know a little about him?
Yeah, coming out. Yeah, he's going to get a big opportunity. He's with the Knicks, right?
76ers.
76ers. Which one went to the Knicks then?
Obi Toppin.
No, they got another Kentucky guy. If I'm not wrong,
Emmanuel Quickly.
I think Emmanuel Quickly. So I disagree. I think Emmanuel Quickly will have that bigger impact because the 76ers still have that big guard rotation of Shake Milton. They just got Seth Curry, Danny Green, Ben Simmons. So they'll have their guards ready. So unless he comes in and makes some immediate crazy impact or he's a great shooter, I don't think he'll see the playing floor right away. But Emmanuel Quickly on the Knicks, however, I think Dennis Smith Jr. disappeared. They got Alfred Payton starting at point guard right now. So I think he'll be the one to take the bigger steps this season.
Is Frank still there?
Yeah, Frank. Oh, I'm sorry. Frank Ntilikina is out there competing, man. French Prince.
Yep. So that's gonna be your rookies. Big draft class this year, but even better draft class next year. So start watching that college basketball so you could talk. So when you're not concerned about what your team drafts, so like, oh, it's a bad pick. You gotta watch college basketball. Big time class coming up. Okay, Dylan. Next topic, we're gonna talk about players going into this season who had a pretty good season last year or a great season, but who are gonna take the next step this year. First one I want to talk about. He was hooping against the Nets. They didn't get the win. That boy Jason Tatum is going to have a big time year this year. Gordon Hayward leaving opens the door. Jason Tatum, player on the come up for sure.
Yeah, Jason Tatum. I'm sorry, I'm subbing out my mic for my charger. I'm low on charge, but
It's all
bear
right.
with me
The
for my
audio
terrible
still
audio.
the audio is still good.
Jason Tatum's a great player coming out of Duke. He should have been the number one overall pick that year. Danny Ainge is such a dog, just in general with his offseason moves that he was able to finesse the 76ers out of a future pick and still get their guy with the third overall pick. Markelle Fultz went first. Lonzo went second. Jason Tatum's gonna be a baller as usual. He's gonna have to show that he can be the number one option for a championship team because I don't think Kemba Walker is that great of a player for them to be a championship caliber team. Jaylen Brown, however, it looks like he's already off to a great start this season, and I think it really depends on him because I think Jason Tatum can walk out and make the most difficult shots with ease. But Jaylen Brown's got to come out there and show that he can take over the offense as well.
And I'm one to admit, after LeBron's last year in Cleveland, when they went to Game 7 and Jason Tatum was absolutely hooping his rookie year, I thought he would have already been like considered like maybe an MVP. But the problem was Celtics keep added talent and talent, not talent that necessarily fits. They were just getting hoopers. Like now the Celtics I think are more better fit now than they were in the past because I feel like they just had a bunch of like twos and threes instead of like a team chemistry because basketball is all about chemistry. The longer a team play and the more they trust each other, it's more they're gonna hoop better. But I think Jason Tatum gonna have a big time year. Another player who's gonna have another opportunity. Now he's got a guard. We talked about him early. Devin Booker.
Devin Booker. Devin Booker's got that Kentucky swagger, man. He's got like I didn't get him coming out of Kentucky either. He was the sixth man coming off the bench. He was kind of just a shoot if he's open kind of guy. Goes one and done, and then goes 13 to the Suns and completely turns the order. He was one of those guys that if he didn't go to the Suns, they would be in a dumpster fire right now, struggling to just stay afloat. Because I mean, they would have gotten maybe one or two more first overall picks, but he is just a generational type scorer, walking bucket. He's got CP3 now who can take over that point guard role because they tried to force him into that James Harden type role where when they didn't have the point guard healthy like Pat Beverly, James Harden would just walk over to the point guard role and then they could throw another shooter in with him and he would run the show. But Devin Booker isn't like that. He isn't like that playmaking wise. Having CP3 around will make it a lot easier on him to just do his thing and get buckets.
And he's willing to put in the work too. Him and Tatum, all these dudes we're about to name, like they're young dudes that are willing to put in the work to get better. So like obviously they're gonna get better.
Circling back to Jason Tatum and talking about big jumps, Bradley Beal buckets, man. On the come up, Russell Westbrook will have him with serving him open looks, man.
Well, he already averaged the most points in the NBA last season, but my favorite players. He just plays like so smart. Like he really I've been saying this. He literally reminds me of a young D Rose, Allen Iverson, and a Kobe Bryant. No, hold up. Scratch that. D Rose, Rondo, and Kobe. That's what y'all play like to me.
I love the young Rondo. Unfortunately, I am facing John Morant in fantasy this week. So, yeah, trust me, I get everything that he's been accomplishing this season so far. There's no sophomore slump for him. He doesn't have his right-hand man either with him. Jaren Jackson Jr. is out for probably the year. I think it was a meniscus tear. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a meniscus tear.
Well, he'll be back in a couple months.
Oh, okay. Maybe he'll be back April or some shit. I could be wrong. But he's got Brandon Clark, who has just made an outstanding jump. He was a great pick for them. I know you're a big fan of Brandon Clark too. They have a really good organization over there in Memphis. It didn't work out. I love the grit and grind there. It didn't work out for them. They weren't really a championship level team, but they exceeded expectations every year. They got a good organization. They'll build a good culture over there. I like Dylan Brooks too. Dylan Brooks is a really good guard. 3-and-D. He'll get the job done too.
It's a shame that Winslow can't hoop for them. I was excited for Winslow to be a part of that
I
team.
like Justice. That was a W of a trade. I mean, I like their mentality too with the Andre Iguodala thing. Like, oh, you don't want to play for us?
Fuck 'em.
We're hooping over here. Yeah, hey, we're hooping over here. But Iggy's a cool guy too. It's working out for him. It worked out for him. Worked out for everybody. They got Justice Winslow. He get a good Andre Iguodala. So that was a trade where it worked out great for both sides.
Another young player, another guard, Trae Young. As you saw what he did to the Bulls, torched us. But now he's got not the old veteran Rajon Rondo tutoring him. Trae Young, look out, folks. Look out.
Trae Young and the Hawks. I have Trae Young in fantasy. I didn't really want. I hate to say it like that. I didn't really want him. I had a lot. It was one of those situations where like 3 guys that I wanted got taken the 3 picks before me, and he was the best player available. So I was like, all right, like it only makes sense. But I took Trae Young.
What's up, numbers, man?
This just gives an opportunity for us to talk about the Hawks off season too. I mean, they have all this money to spend, and not only did they spend it, they spent it correctly. So they made all these great acquisitions. They picked up Danilo Gallinari, Rajon Rondo, Chris Dunn, who the Bulls should have re-signed. He's a great 2-way guard. He could be. I say Chris Dunn can be a poor man's Marcus Smart. He can be our 6th man. He's going to be our grindy defender. He's going to be a playmaker, and he's not going to be that 5th overall that he could have lived up to, but he was going to be a solid player.
And they drafted Onyeka Okongwu.
Onyeka Okongwu, Big O, out of USC, played with LaMelo in high school. I was a big fan of him coming out of high school. I knew that whole team they had was going to be phenomenal.
And John Collins coming back.
And then Clint Capella's there too. So they are literally built to run 1 through 12. Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter.
They have Kevin Porter Jr.?
No, he's on the Cavs. I said Kevin Huerter.
Oh,
he's the ginger kid out of Maryland.
Okay, I was going to say, okay, yeah.
He's a
they got
sniper.
Kevin Porter Jr. too. Wow. Okay.
No, yeah, he's still in Cleveland. Cam Reddish was the one I was saying. Yeah, just they're built to run 1 through 10. Yeah, and it sucks because there's that little window for that 8 seed in the East, which has surprisingly turned competitive, and now that looks to have been taken over by the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, moving on from that, this young player who I was always high on, unfortunately, he got hurt his first college game in a preseason. Number 1 high school recruit in his class. I wanted the Bulls to pick him. The next Kevin Durant, word from me, I'm telling you now, Michael Porter Jr. Big time step this season.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first, the next Kevin Durant. But yeah, I think you know yourself that I said Michael Porter Jr. I remember I was at my buddy's house when we went live at Danny Hansen's, and I went on Instagram live with it as a joke. And we were sitting there saying we want Michael Porter Jr. And they pronounced Wendell Carter with the 8th pick, and we're all no. But
no offense to Wendell, just not the right pick.
Wendell's cool, but there's no. I didn't see a big future with 6'9" center with no legit skill set.
As I've been said, once a year, every year in the NBA draft, you will find a Wendell Carter Jr. You will not find another Michael Porter Jr.
If the best case scenario was he's like a Bam Adebayo, like I don't see it still. And he's already off to a terrible start to this year. I think he's had just 2 terrible games. I mean, I didn't like the pick. I remember Michael Porter. And then I said the Bulls in that draft also had the 21st pick, maybe. It was the Pelicans pick in the Nico Mirotic trade. Trade that up to get Michael Porter Jr. I said it. He is that small forward that they would be horrific defensively. I mean, that's a different subject for a different day. But he's a part of that young core. We would be, yeah. I don't get it.
As you
So we had
saw,
Chandler
he finally
Hutchinson
got
and
his
Wendell Carter Jr.
opportunity late in the season, before COVID, and then they brought him to the bubble, and Michael Porter Jr. was looking ready in the bubble. Now this season, first 2 games, that boy is coming ready to play. I'm telling you, next Kevin Durant.
I have him in fantasy this year. Everyone was like, "Oh, you stole him from me." There was a lot of people telling me that, I think you including. But I hope he lives up to that potential.
My last player, who I think is going to take a big step, and no offense to all these other players, there's going to be a bunch of other players that take a big time step. This is my opinion.
Oh, we're gonna miss so many players.
We're gonna miss. But I'm going with young bull Colin Sexton. Got to go with him. I love his deep. I love his heart. Cleveland.
Did you see what Darius Garland's been doing already this season? He's been hooping. I'm playing against him this week in fantasy. Dude, they're averaging like 60. This so efficient. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And I've been wondering like what Cleveland's been doing it. But like I like
that 2-guard lineup.
But
I
like
didn't get it either.
Cleveland is doing the old 76ers draft process. We're gonna draft the best available player, not position need, whoever is the best
just
available
keep drafting and something's gonna hit.
And is
Isaac Okoro too. Isaac Okoro
could have been on the Bulls. I would have been happy with him too. He's not.
He would have made more sense if Isaac Okoro would have been fourth. I would have been like, oh, okay, he was the fourth prospect in all these big boards and every scout's thing. But he's a bucket too. He's a great 3-and-D guy. But Pat Williams is Patty Wagon's gonna be a dog. That's a fact.
Okay. Now moving on, we're going into team playoff projections. Who we think? So we're gonna start off in the Eastern Conference. So I'm gonna list my teams, and I'll let you go. I'll let you explain. So for number one,
yeah, I mean, I guarantee we'll be right in the same.
Yeah,
boat.
we'll be right over there. Okay, I'll go. We'll start.
Yeah,
with the numbers,
go one by one.
And if there's difference, then let me know. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, number one, I'm gonna go with the Nets. I think Kevin Durant's not really one of those players to take it off in the offseason. Kyrie coming off injury, and he wasn't even really hurt last season. I think they're gonna hoop the whole regular season. I got them going number one. Forget the Bucks. I got the Nets going number one.
Especially, we have the ability to make this 2 games into the season, so I have a little bit of a preview. The Nets look like they're the real deal. I mean, they're built 1 through 8 too. I mean, I have Karis LeVert. I think
Spencer Dinwiddie, always on
Karis
the
LeVert. I saw him coming out of Michigan. I knew he was going to be a Nets steal of the draft. He's a bucket. He could play 1 through 4. Yeah, I love the Nets. So
you think the Nets number one?
100% agree.
Okay, 2. I'm going with the Bucks. What you think on that?
Yeah, regular season team. I don't think they're a championship team still either. But that's a different subject. Yeah, though 100% though I see them a top 3 team in the East with these. So Chris Middleton's hooping too. Good for him.
After 1 and 2, like 3, 4, get a little mix. Number 3, I'm
going
with the Eastern Conference champions, Miami Heat.
Yeah, it makes sense. I didn't even think of them. I was going to jump right into Philly or Boston, but Miami Heat makes sense too. As long as they're healthy. Jimmy got hurt on Christmas Day, so hopefully he's healthy. But yeah, they're going to be ready to just fight every game and treat every game like it's a playoff game. So I'll give you that at number 3. I would have said I ride with them every year, and hopefully I'm right this year. Philly. I think Philly with Doc Rivers will take that next step, and he'll somehow figure out how to make it work with Ben Simmons and Joel. That's just assuming. And we're going to pretend James Harden is just on the Rockets.
Exactly. That's the one thing about these projections. Like, we might have to make a new one if Harden gets traded. That's what, like,
easily.
It affects the whole NBA.
Rumors.
Whole
we're just saying right here on paper, 2 games 27 this season.
Yeah, okay. Number 4, I'm going with the Celtics. I saw the game against the Nets. The Celtics did not back down. They gave them a game. I like the way they were hooping.
This top 5 in the East is going to be so competitive. I'm going to go with the Heat at 4 and the Celtics at 5. But
you got Philly at 3?
Yeah. So I assume Philly's going to be your 5. Okay. Is that right?
Yeah, Philly's my 5.
Yeah. So I think Philly's going to be better in at least in the regular season this year, as long as they're healthy, of course. But yeah, the Celtics still have Brad Stevens. They can do anything they want.
My 6th seed is a team that's always gonna get overlooked. Toronto Raptors.
Pacers. Oh, Toronto Raptors, of course. Um, they're gonna take a step down. They're just not as competitive because I mean they don't have the star power they used to. Pascal Siakam, he's good, but I don't think he's taking that next step.
He's a
Everyone
player
kept
that's gonna take the next step, in my opinion.
he's good, and I really do like him too because I think he can be a top 20 player in the league
Yeah,
easily. But that's also part of the Raptors' development, how good their coaching is.
yeah.
But yeah, they just don't have the star power. I guess they lost Marcus Gasol. Aaron Baines is their starting center right now, so they're just not. They're not as deep as they used to be. I like OG Anunoby though. Laurie Van Vliet, they're all still hoopers.
So you think Toronto gonna make the playoffs?
Yeah, easily. So I'll give you that
Okay,
100%.
okay.
I thought you were gonna go with the Pacers though, but
That's my next team. But think about it. So far, the Pacers.
I think
Oladipo's
they'll fall
back.
apart. So I was gonna disagree. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year.
The Pacers.
Sabonis is gonna hoop and put up numbers,
Miles
but I don't
Turner's
think.
been hooping, and Oladipo.
Yeah, I still, and they who's do you know who their coach is? They fired Nate McMillan, which is really weird.
I
But
don't know who the
I know that
Pacers
they got a
coach
new.
is.
Yeah, no
Making
clue
me look dumb on
either.
my own show.
Nah, me too. I don't know either. I
But
know they
I
hired
was about
someone
to
from
say,
within.
I
I
think the
want to say it
Pacers
was
have
their
the
assistant.
capability to be a 5 seed. Call me crazy.
Brogdon, dude, Brogdon is a dog. So extremely efficient, 50, 40, 90, flirts with it every year. He's great. They're built too. They just got a great team. Maybe we'll see bubble TJ Warren. If we see bubble TJ Warren, you're 100% right. They'll be a 7 seed. But I think they're going to fall apart because I think the Victor Oladipo, some of that bullshit rumors were true.
Okay. So 8 seed. I'm gonna be honest with you, Dylan. I was making this list 2 days ago when I was telling you about the podcast. And know who I had as my 8 seed? I no longer have them there anymore. I was making a leap, a a jump of faith. I had the Chicago Bulls. But guess what? I was wrong once again. They are taken off my list. They are erased. They're not making the
And
playoffs. I'm
and I'm
going
sorry to
with the
backtrack.
Wizards.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna move the Wizards up to 7.
That's
And
cool.
I'll move the Pacers to 8 then because yeah, I think the Wizards are just better. They're built to Russell Westbrook in the East. I think about what players are better than Russell Westbrook in the East. You can name about 6 or 7. So him and Bradley be on the same team. It's just there's no way they can't figure it out. I
You
feel
know what I'm saying?
to
And
make
there's still
the
some
playoffs,
great,
not beside
good
the
teams
8 seed.
off the board, like the Hawks. Like the Bulls might start playing better.
Once we
Like
got
the
once we
East
got
is
this
just
far
getting
down
better and
the
better.
list, I was
The Hornets are gonna be there too. They're gonna compete. Like the East is just getting better and better as long as the NBA. Dylan, I'm telling you, there's gonna be a point that there's the teams' records are gonna be bad just because they're losing. But like NBA 2K, there's gonna be a bunch of 80 overall like players. Like
it's
all
gonna
of
be
like the
fun to
league is
play.
just gonna
Teams are
get
gonna be fun to play with and fun to watch.
the
100%.
league is just getting better and better. And as a basketball fan, I love that. Like the team's getting younger. Like I love when young players hoop. I don't know. I'm a big college basketball guy. That's why. But so that's the Eastern Conference. Now we're gonna move to the trenches, the Western Conference.
Hey,
The Western
I'm in the
Conference,
trenches with
like
Lex.
so, number 1 seed for me.
And it sucks. Yeah, no, because I mean it's just
There's gonna
regular
be some
season.
teams left out in the
I'm gonna
playoffs,
say
and the
before we go any further, too, Lakers are my team this year to win it.
Lakers
I
are
think they're just
Dylan
too,
Leyden
they're too
calling them
good.
out,
Yeah,
as is
too
mine.
good, too
Lego
good.
James,
You heard
as
it here.
mine.
Get
That's
talk.
my team. But number 1 seed, and unfortunately, there's gonna be some teams not make the playoffs. It sucks. Like some teams I want to see in the playoffs, not. But number 1, I'm going with the Lakers.
Yeah, I'll just go with you right off the bat. I mean, it's a regular season thing that I could just make the argument for, but yeah, Lakers will go easily with the
2,
1 seed.
2, I'm going with the Clippers again. Know why? One guy. Paul George. I know what Kawhi did last year. I knew it. Paul George looked a little too comfortable in Clippers. Like Paul George is ready, as he said in the All the Smoke podcast. I'm back with my trainer. I'm on motherfucker's ass. And yes, he is.
Yeah,
Paul George is on their ass.
I was shitting on Paul George last year because he was talking all that shit. Him and Pat Bev, and I like Pat Bev too because he's a Chicago kid. He got out the mud too. And Paul George a hooper. He if there's any player you want to play with in 2K, like let's say you're building a my player, is Paul George. You got a 6'9" dude, handle the ball, off the
Shoot,
dribble,
finish.
three, shoot, dunk, out the gym,
Yeah.
plays D, anything. So that's just something like that. He's like, people don't talk about him enough, but I don't see them as the 3 seed. I just got the notification. They got blown out by the Mavericks today.
By 50 at halftime.
It was bad. I saw it was like 45-13 in the first quarter. I turned the game
77 to
off.
25 at half. Yep.
Oh God, I didn't see that. Oh my God. But
Kawhi's
I'm
not
gonna take
playing.
I'm gonna take Denver at the 2 seed. I think
Okay.
it'll be I think it'll be a load
I
management
I like
bullshit.
that because Denver's my 3 seed. So
I love Denver. The Joker was my number 1 pick in fantasy this year. He is the best center in the league by far. No one's ever seen anything like him. The wizard passing to just the playmaking to not being able to dunk. It's so fun to watch, in my opinion.
I'm a big Jamal Murray guy. Like I like him, man. Like he's not a good 2K player, but Jamal Murray is a bucket. You got to give him that, and he showed him in the playoffs last season.
So all right, so we can interchange those.
Yeah.
Those 2 and
So
3.
number 4 and 5 is interchangeable too, in my opinion. 4, I'm going with the Jazz.
So then give me your 5.
The Blazers.
Yeah, Chris. When do you think Kristaps Porzingis comes back?
I don't know.
January. We'll say end of January, just because he usually milks a little bit too. Yeah. It's just the West is so deep. You know
You
what?
got the Mavs up there?
We're talking about the 4. Yeah, I'm talking about the Mavs up there. At the 4, I'm gonna go with the wild card. No, it doesn't make sense. Give me the Portland Trailblazers. I think
At
Give me the
4?
Portland Trailblazers. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
who's
those
your
are good
number
arguments.
5?
Give me the Phoenix Suns. I think, Phoenix Suns. I don't think Donovan Mitchell and the Rudy Gobert last nearly as long as those max contracts last. One of those they'll blow it up before then. So I
Phoenix
don't think
Suns, 5 seed, Dylan
5
Leyden.
seed.
Okay.
Hey, stop bookmarking these predictions.
Hey,
They look
I
good
like
2
it. I
games
like
in.
it. I like the shine in the dark. Like, I'm not hating on it. Number 6, I'm going with the Rockets. And it's hard to make these predictions because we don't know what James Harden's going to do, but I'm going with the Rockets in number 6. They're still a good basketball team. I hope James Harden please just drops it. Hoop with John Wall. Like, why can't he win? Like, come on.
Yeah. I'll give you that. I would put the Rockets at my 7 because I think Harden's still gonna have to carry a load, and he's gonna want it done his way still. Even though they got the new coach in, it's not gonna be some brand new system. He's still gonna dominate the ball. And they don't have that second day. John Wall's still a good player, but he's not like that Russell Westbrook CP3 secondary playmaker type player. I think he's still a great player and can still get you 18 and 8, but yeah, I don't see them being as competitive this year. And that's also because of the antics James Harden has pulled. If they were doing regular, or if he was being a regular guy, then they would be a top 3 seed, I think.
I hope that
top
gets
4.
together but as my 7 seed, I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks. And not a strong start for them. But Luka's not really a jump off the blocks. Like, the Mavericks play a different type of basketball from anybody in the league. Just because you got a slow point guard, Luka, but they're gonna make the playoffs. I got them 7.
Okay, yeah. So then who's your 8 seed?
8 seed, Dylan. For mine, there's a bunch of teams that could be the 8 seed. You could go with the Suns. You could go with the Warriors.
I got the Suns.
You could go with
playoffs.
You could go with the Pelicans. I'm forgetting a team. Let me look because I don't want to leave no options out the board for
because I feel like I'm leaving some stuff out too. I mean, we got the Kings, the Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves option, but forget all that. Forget all those teams, Dylan. This guy can't just be my favorite player for nothing. I believe in
the
him.
Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies. Such a disappointment, heart blown. I was at school, I was at college watching them lose all those bubble games.
The playing games.
And the Portland Trailblazers are stealing our spot. Just
they
because
they
wanted to see the Dame and LeBron matchup. I'm calling conspiracy. But this year, John Morant in the playoffs, him and LeBron go head to head. Book it.
Yeah, so you got the. I don't think the Grizzlies make the playoffs because John Maron's got a huge load to carry this early in the season. Um, I got the Mavericks at 8 just because Kristaps Porzingis isn't healthy. It could but these teams are also interchangeable. All it's going to come down to is who stays healthy and who doesn't. Because
And COVID.
then,
And COVID.
and COVID, because I would count that the same thing. Because those 6 games, you might lose 4 out of the 6, and that drops you from the 3 seed to the 7. So
The West, man, like please watch basketball this year. Everybody was like, please, because it's going to be so exciting. Last year was exciting, but this year's is going to be better. Like it's going to be like impossible to make. Like Chris Paul, like this might be like one of the first times ever since like Chris Paul left Charlotte that he's not going to be in the playoffs. Because I don't think he's going to be in the playoffs, but he might. But they're still going to compete. They're still going to be in the conversation. That's all I'm hoping with my team, the Chicago Bulls. As long as they're in the conversation to make the playoffs, I'm happy. But if they're at the bottom, I'm just looking for Cade Cunningham, the next draft pick. Like, I want to have a little excitement. But that rounds it off. Dylan, thank you for coming on the show. Episode 1, it was great. You were a great guest. Hopefully we could have you on another time. Is there anything else you would like to say? Any other
Matt, thanks
shout
for
outs,
having me on.
predictions you got?
Bulls are still going to be the number 1 seed in the East. You can book that. Besides all the stupid predictions we just made about 10 minutes ago, Bulls are still the best team. Other than that, no, thanks for having me on. I hope this went well. I've never done this before, but yeah, hope it went well.
Thank you. That's episode 1 of Gep Talk. If you like, please subscribe. Please like. Episode 2, a different guest. Maybe Dylan gonna be back down the road. But if you like, please subscribe. Please comment. Throw some questions. We're gonna be getting out these podcasts, and hope you guys enjoyed. Episode 1 of Gep Talk is finished. As Kobe Bryant said, "Mamba out. R.I.P. Kobe. 24-8 forever." 2-4. All right. Peace, y'all.